A whole host of fixtures coming for Mamelodi Sundowns, and their focus maybe slightly on the Champions League first leg on the 24th. They have made a few changes, 4 in fact, from the 2-0 win over Cape Town City. Dennis Nyongo's back in for Ronwen Williams. It's the most starts he's made, which is 8 now. For a good few seasons for Sundowns. Malibongo Khoza, just a second start in the last 11 Sundowns games across all competitions. He's in for Grant Kekana. Tafelo Morena and Lucas Ribeiro dropped to the bench for this evening. In comes Jaden Adams, who just recently celebrated his birthday at the beginning of this week, and Kuliso Madao is also back in. 3 changes for Chippa United from the side that fell to Supersport. Justice Chabalala makes way, and Tabang Mulawa is back in after failing to make the 11 in the last 5 games. He's part of a back 3 alongside Makelen and Globu, and Globu's drafted back into defense after starting up front in their recent match. And then the youth product from Orlando Pirates, Sunwabo Kumalo, makes a first ever pro start. He's in for the suspended Sergio Kamis. Bienvenu Eva is installed up top. Maliboko Modise is the third player to drop out of the starting lineup for tonight's encounter. And a fairly cheery mood on the bench for Chippa United despite their recent misfortunes, but they'll feel like maybe this is a free hit because no one expects them to pick up anything against Mamelodi Sundowns. But it's nights like this where the biggest shocks occur, and they have back-to-back games against Sundowns with that Buffalo City meeting coming next week. Cedric Mwadi is our man in charge. Thabo Toise and Kenneth Mamegwa are the gentlemen running the touchlines. The vastly experienced Jonathan Zeke is our 4th official for tonight. Both sides captained by their goalkeepers, as I hand you over to Amanda Dlamini for the formations.
Thank you, Grant. Mamelodi Sundowns, a very versatile and flexible, tactically flexible team. Looking at going for a 4-3-3. Calls are coming in to pair up in that centre-back position with Lebusa Mudao coming in the right back, obviously to try and bomb up forward and give those crosses and add those numbers. Of course, the visiting team, Chippa United, looking at the likes of Evangar, trying to make sure that they impress where the front press is concerned. They want to initiate and trigger that front press. Kwaiva still hoping to add a little bit of more goals to his 6 goals of the season.
Sorry, the moment of silence that was so well observed for Orlando Pirates chairman Daniel Twile. Mamelodi Sundowns greet the Loftus faithful here. Of course, the league is not yet wrapped up, although they are getting close, and in a season where they will have 2 fewer games to compete for, although they did play once against Royal AM, a win that's been expunged now from the record books. They still have an opportunity to break several PSL records that they themselves currently hold. An opportunity for them to record, if they were to go on a winning streak, which they're perfectly capable of doing, the most ever wins in a 30-game season in the PSL era. The most goals scored. In fact, they are very close to reaching that mark. The record currently stands at 56 now, 54 goals. In fact, they would be on 56 had that Royal AM result not been wiped out, as we do get underway here. They are unlikely to break the record points winning margin, which they set last season of 23, just considering how Orlando Pirates have done so much better at keeping pace with them. But there's several other smaller records that are on the line, like the best goal difference ever in the PSL era, so plenty to play for. And what Stanton said in the build-up, Amanda, is that even when the league is wrapped up, getting wins, getting good performances is important to carry the momentum into the CAF Champions League final.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just always about peak performance and high concentration, knowing what is ahead for Mamelodi Sundowns. They really want to be clinical in every aspect. and rightfully so, mentioned by Stiga. You really want to finish the season on a high.
Allende was absolutely brilliant over the weekend against Cape Town City. Malibu Koza over to Libusa. Mokoena scored several times against Chippa United in the past. In fact, their most recent meeting, which was just over a year ago now, he did net an absolute stunner. Well outside the area, drilled into the bottom corner, a game in which Tashreeq Matthews scored just a couple of minutes after coming on, which is actually his first ever goal for Mamelodi Sundowns. He went on to score 4 league goals this season. His strike against Cape Town City over the weekend means he now has 5 for this campaign, so he has improved on his tally from last season.
I think one of my favorite introductions at Mamelodi Sundowns, just his ability to maneuver in the tight spaces, but every chance that he gets, you probably know it's an 80% chance at goal. Very clinical as well.
Boy Manungwane playing as the right wing back today. Taba September mentioned how they do have several DDC players in their ranks, players who have fairly recently been promoted from the reserve, and their central midfield is occupied by 2. Fabama Jongwana, who came from the Chippa development ranks, turns 24 next month, and then the young Sonwabu Kumalo, who was developed at Orlando Pirates. He's on loan from Pele Pele, who are effectively Pirates feeder club. And he is making a senior debut today, not just for Chippa, but in his professional career.
It's been an incredible season. I'm just watching the introduction of the DDC players into top flight football. So Orlando Pirates players as well in the derby. Coach just showing no remorse and having 5 or 6 subs of the DDC players, which is really great. Of course, celebrating a Kaizer Chiefs after 10 years as well. Celebrating 10 years of winning the DDC. Kaizer Chiefs coming into the fold of things. And you hope that maybe next season you would see some of the players that were finishing off in this, DDC league, even in the first team.
Interestingly, of the many DDC grads on the bench, 2 of them came through Mamelodi Sundowns development, Vilanda and Modise. Shiton headed away by Mokoena. Libusa deals with the danger. Kept alive by Allende. Stanley Nwabali caught in 2 minds there as Ikram Reyners closed him down. Ikram Reyners has been excellent in front of goal of late, whilst the goals have dried up for a man on the bench today. That's Lucas Ribeiro. Goal drought has stretched to 10 games in all competitions for the Brazilian. Now there's another Brazilian who's just handed off the ball here to Koza, that being Arturo Salles, who has really come right after a bit of a shaky and slow start with Mamelodi Sundowns. Modiba gets back from Matthews. Sundowns, as they so often do, working very patiently here. Mokoena floats it into the box. A decent enough clearance by Ndlovu. Now Mokoena has it again. He's resisted the urge a couple of times to shoot. Mudau to Mokoena. Chippa United will probably have to take advantage of moments like this where it hasn't materialized this time around, but trying to catch Mamelodi Sundowns on the break. Since entering the top flight back in 2012, they have managed wins over every club that they've come across, except for Mamelodi Sundowns across 22 meetings, and Royal AM, who they've only played 6 times. So of course, that's perhaps to be expected. Sundowns have outscored Chippa 34 goals to 8 across those 22 previous meetings. Koza, Mayende, Madao, back to Allende. It's retrieved by Koza. 13 clean sheets in 20 starts in all competitions for Malimo Koza. He was out of the team for quite a while. He came back against Richards Bay. It was 2 games ago, having sat out 8 games prior to that. Did make a few sub appearances, but hadn't been in the starting lineup for 8 games prior to the 3-0 victory over Richards Bay last week here at Loftus.
Can't imagine how easy or how difficult it is to settle into such a world-class squad like Mamelodi Sundowns, and I think when the opportunity is given to him, I think he's really impressed throughout the season.
Makes you wonder whether he's going to turn some heads at the Club World Cup. I would imagine so, just given the athleticism, the physical profile, and of course all the other attributes that he has, his composure, passing range. He is in the top 3 for passing in this immensely gifted Sundowns team, so that should tell you something, and he's part of the reason why in many games this season they've been able to rack up such incredible numbers. Against Cape Town City over the weekend, almost 550 successful passes, the 14th time this season in the league where they've completed more than 500 passes. The game prior to that against Richards Bay, over 800 passes completed, and since Upton started recording those passing stats, I think 8 seasons ago, that is the most successful passes ever made in a top flight game in South Africa.
It's just incredible. And I think it just speaks to composure, it speaks to control, it speaks to the accuracy, the weight of the pass as well. And I think they just complement each other, this is Sundowns, but also when they need to up the tempo, you can see it as well. The likes of Obi Modiba coming into the fold. Yes, they're not like the Sundowns we all know, but the efficiency is there.
Now, breaks kindly here for Modao. Quickly sets it for Salles. There's some desperate defending, but it's worked out here for Chippa United, and now a speedy Kwaiba is onto it. Trying to work his way past Lebusa. And that's returned to him, just runs away. A top scorer this season, Kwaiba, with 6 goals, but he's only scored in 3 games. Every time he scores, he gets a brace. There's Peter Shalolile, who of current Mamelodi Sundowns is level with Mokoena as the top scorer in this tie, but the all-time top scorer in Chippa versus Sundowns games is Gaston Serino. Peter Shalolile closing in on that PSL era record for goals. I wonder how many Lebo Modiba will bang in when he finally gets his chance. All that experience he's had out in France. If you just look at the quality in the stands, let alone on the bench, unbelievable. Now from range, Daniel Mobali takes care of that. Won't want to get beaten in the same fashion that he did last season by Mokoena, who hit it low and left him standing to open the scoring. There's actually not a single Chippa player on the field currently who's ever scored against Mamelodi Sundowns, even at previous clubs, as Bienvenu Ebenga tries to intimidate a man who seemingly remains absolutely undaunted.
Can be a bit intimidating.
Yeah, but Mudau is as cool as ice under those kind of pressure situations. Tossed in by Sitole, away by Salers. Here's Ikram Reyners. Whoa, okay. In the kind of form that he is, perhaps you can forgive him for a moment like that. 20 goal involvements in the league this season. Ikram Reyners, 11 goals scored, 9 assists provided, is actually equal with Lucas Ribeiro. And every time Reyners has scored this season, 10 different games he's netted in the league. Sundowns have won every single one of them. Home to his feet after a little kick to the face here. Boot, the toe of the Ebenga's boot. Yeah.
There's absolutely no chance he was going to get there.
Koza. Nyango. Kwayibo was closing him down. Here's Ebenga. This is Obama Jungwana. Loses out. Modiba has also scored recently against Chippa United, their first meeting of last season. A match that got a lot of buzz because of Morgan Mamila's pound for pound comment, which he claimed they were going to match Sundowns on the day. Aubrey Modiba opened the scoring inside the final 10 minutes of the first half with a free kick. Justice Shabalala, who's been benched today, with an own goal for a 2-0 win for Mamelodi Sundowns. Facts perhaps that Miguel Cardoso is not aware of, but he has been informed over the course of this week that Sundowns do have an unbeaten league record against Chippa United. Much has been made of it. Tawana sandwiched and loses possession. Interestingly, Sundowns currently plus 41 goal difference, which is the record that they set last season, so it's something they could potentially break. They have 12 more points to play for, including tonight, and the record for most points in a 30-game season in the PSL era is 73. So if they were to win all 4 of their remaining matches, they would equal that record, but having played 2 fewer games, meaning it would be a record for points per game in the PSL era.
What can't they do?
Trainers. Modiba. Salez. Mudau has remained on side. Salez gets a touch. Well, that's exactly the man you wanted to sit up for on the edge of the area, but again, doesn't take on the shot. Blocked out for a throw-in, which Sundowns have taken quickly here. Clever little bit of improvisation there from Malebonga Koza to prevent the breakaway from Craig Martin, although the free kick has gone in favour of the visitors here. Quarter hour into proceedings. Sundowns have successfully navigated a period where, surprisingly, this season they have let in a lot of goals. Just conceded 13 this season, but 5 of those have been conceded in the opening quarter hour. It's 38% of all the goals they've conceded. And in fact, only Cape Town City, the side currently in the relegation promotion playoff spot, have conceded more in that opening period. Over the top for Kwaiba to chase. The flag is raised.
That was a very close call. Kwaiba did really try to hold his run, just grazing that low block from Mamelodi Sundowns. But of course, you always just have to time your runs, and if it is that they want to break that back four.
Modal to Khoza. Modal celebrated his 30th birthday last month. Reynolds, smartly dispossessed.
Physical battle in midfield. Yes, the likes of Chongwana will want to make sure that they drop deep enough so that they close those passing lines, but once they regain possession, it's always important to get the pass for the first pass forward, just to make sure that they give the likes of Kwaiba and Nga a bit of a chance in the final third.
Nga, 3 goals this season, nowhere near his best ever tally, which was back in 2021-22 when he managed 10, which actually prompted a move to Orlando Pirates, a fairly ill-fated move. Laid off for Tashreeq Matthews, who perhaps hasn't seen as much of the ball as some other players on the park. Modal getting away first from Sitole and then Kumalo. Jaden Adams cushions the ball first time into the path of Matthews, but Sian and Glover was done wonderfully once again. A little bit of a failed experiment against Supersport United, starting him up front, but he was hooked off before the half-time break and replaced with Evan Nga, but back in a more conventional position for him. He has played at fullback and at centre-half this season. Man who was ABC Motsepe League National Player of the Season last year with Kruger United.
Yeah, did come as a surprise for me as well, considering Sakala was also one of the players up front.
Now that took a bit of a deflection and away from goal. Corner kick. Sakala, who you mentioning, the Zambian, currently injured at the moment, so it's a bit of a miss for Chippa United. Chippa United have conceded the most headed goals in the league this season, so how will they deal with this particular situation? Although Sundowns do score a bulk of their goals from open play. Short to Ayen. Back to Modiba. Could be a very entertaining first half in terms of goals, just based on the numbers, although almost at the halfway mark and nothing to report yet in that regard. But both of these sides have conceded quite frequently in the first half. The bulk of their goals conceded in the first half, and for Chippa the bulk of their goals scored in the first as well. In fact, only Sundowns, who have conceded 69% of their total conceded number of 13, have a higher percentage of goals conceded in the first half than Chippa. 67% of the 21 goals that they have conceded have come before the break.
Would that then mean that Mamelodi Sundowns are usually starting quite slow in the first half?
Yeah, in terms of, I mean, how many they concede, it's very even in terms of first half and second half, how many they score. But I guess it has been one of their weaknesses, of which there are not many. Siton gets away from Sales. Easy take for Dennis Onyango, who will turn 40 years old next week. This is his 8th start in the league this evening. It's the most he's made since the 2021-22 season in a single league campaign. That interception fell for Jaden Adams. He feels as though it was taken off his toes and out for a corner, but the call is goal kick. Gauteng Premier. Anyaza Lesupi is in attendance. Keen interest in local football. Craig Martin was briefly in your picture, the last scorer for Chippa United's 36th minute strike when they hosted Amazulu at the end of March after Sakala and bagged their first. They're currently on a run of just over 480 minutes without a goal. And the last time they went longer without scoring was back in 2021. There's Madao. Koza Tulibusa. Back to the 21-year-old Mamelodi-born defender. Matthews working it out wide to Modiba.
Chippa are doing really well just to remain very compact, dropping the line much deeper than usual.
Adams turns, immediately trying to set Matthews on his way. And even had something materialized from that flag has gone up. Stanley Mobali returned from suspension in their last game against Supersport United. Do have Darren Johnson on the bench, who stood in for him in the defeat to Stellenbosch. Oh, very tight, but I think it's the correct call, just by a shade.
Yep. Good job for Chippa holding the line.
Well, under time of September, they are winless in their last 4. Have lost their last 2 matches. So if they fail to win this evening, they will go 5 games winless in the league for the very first time this season. Not since a period stretching across April and May of last year have they gone longer without a win. It was a 6-game winless streak. Ball over the top is a decent one. And Bienvenu and Gas stretching for it, but can't latch onto it.
Love the consistency though from Chippa. It's the third time where they get free kick and they really just want to play that first ball forward to really bypass that stern and very strong back four line from Mamelodi Sundowns, and this time around timing their run to perfection. Just that second ball not falling to the right player to convert, but a good opportunity for them.
And you would assume in the build-up to a match like this against a team like Mamelodi Sundowns, there would likely have been a particular emphasis on set pieces in training.
Yeah.
Let's cause that. Without nipped away from him by Sitole. Without questioning the decision, but unsure of why exactly. Allende. Mukwena. Nicely threaded ball. That's Adams can't locate a teammate. This is Kwaiba. Koza reads it well. Good ball in by Ikram Reyners. 4 goal contributions his last 3 appearances. Ikram Reyners. He scored in the last 2 league games as well. The most likely challenger for the Golden Boot, with Ibero Costa leading him by 2 goals currently, but he's been a bit off the boil of late. Modao, excellent work and a brilliant cutback, and a brilliant goal for the man we've just been talking about. Back to back to back, and Ikram Reyners has netted his 12th league goal of the season.
Yep, we spoke about the inclusion of Modao, just how important he will be for Mamelodi Sundowns this evening, finding those moments, finding those gaps to get you a good quality cross, and this time around a good cutback. Saleh once again getting involved, and that's where you want him to be effective, linking up play. Look at the composure there, the finesse, the finishing from Ikram Reyners.
Three in a row for Ikram Reyners. To be honest, I think it's 4 in a row, because I still don't think the goal, the late goal that sent them through on aggregates against Alalia, I didn't see it as an own goal. I thought it was going to hit the back of the net had it not taken a deflection off Yasser Ibrahim, but we'll call it 3 in a row.
They all counting.
Ibero's tally is really under threat now. So with that, Ikram Reyners moves to 21 goal contributions in the Betway Premiership this season. That equals what Percy Tau managed in 2017-18 and what Peter Shalulile got in the 2020-21 season. So it's a second most in a a single campaign in the league for it's the last 8 years now.
And just amongst the two of them, Ikram Reyners and Ribeiro, 25 goals. Just amongst the two of them, a number of goals that some of the teams in the league can't even manage to get to. It's quite impressive.
Chippa United would be one of those teams that fall into that category. The only player who's had more goal contributions over that period mentioned was Peter Shalolile, 2021-2022, largely due to the 23 goals he scored. Not all too many assists that particular campaign, but just shows what a good season Ikram Reyners has had in front of goal. So we have entered into what is, for Mamelodi Sundowns, their most prolific 15-minute period. From the half-hour mark to the half-time whistle, they have scored 11 goals during this period of play, equal with TS Galaxy as the best in the league. And then for Chippa United, conceded 10 goals in the 15 minutes preceding the half-time break. That is the most in the league, and it's almost 50% of all the goals they've conceded have come during this period. So worrying for them, with Sundowns already ahead. Sales has to wait for the ball to arrive, but he's been able to free Mudau here. Nothing comes of that ball play forward. It's Kumalo. Options further upfield in short supply for the visitors. And something to watch, Mamelodi Sundowns, 1 goal away from equaling their 56 goal records that they managed in the 2021-22 season, helped largely by Peter Shalolile's tally. The previous best goal tally in the league had been in 2015-16, where they managed 55 goals in 30 games, so the Sundowns have hit that mark currently. This also happens to be the 4th season in succession that they have scored 50 goals or more. But perhaps the most impressive record that is there for the taking, and could be done by next week when they take on Chippa, is for the most wins in a 30-game PSL season, which currently stands at 22. They came so close to breaking it last season, as they had set that 22-win mark back in 2015-16, and they equaled it last season. They could very well break it as Saleh slightly overcooks his cross. Back to Onyango. He'll be looking for his 5th clean sheet in the league of games that he has started. Has 7 clean sheets in total this season. The Ugandan. So much quality in this Mamelodi Sundowns squad. I think this season they've also rotated very effectively. The only instance that I can recall when perhaps that wasn't the case was that defeat to Bulwani City in their first match against them at the old Peter Magaba Stadium, where they made 11 changes going into that game. It was under Mamelodi, and of course didn't work out how they had intended. I think they did learn a lesson from that, though. Don't change the whole team.
Yeah, you have to have a few combinations that can still get you the rhythm of the team going, a bit of stability as well. I think up to so far, Chippa have really done well to deny those spaces. I think Matthews has really had a tough time this first half to try and operate in those half spaces that he usually likes, also going out wide. But just the ability to have the presence of mind to drop in a little bit, to allow Madiba to go out wide, but the physicality and just those set pieces is what I think Chippa wouldn't really want to have in and around that 18-yard box, knowing how deadly the likes of Mokoena are on the ball.
So Allende takes, that wouldn't have counted had it gone in. The referee hadn't indicated yet that he was allowed to play the ball, and for that he is cautioned. So he'll want to put his all into this this game, because he will not be eligible for the match against Stellenbosch over the weekend. So take 2, Allende. It's one of the strangest sequences of events that I've seen of late. An improperly taken free kick, a booking, and then the same man somehow goes and strikes the referee with the ball just moments later.
And I thought I really want to see how this set piece is rehearsed, looking at Mokoena just taking that sprint through.
So this time it's not Allende, and it's caused so much pandemonium in the box. In the end, it is scrambled in. Well, 3rd time lucky from that set piece. And Jaden Adams takes the acclaim, staying the most alert in the box. And it's a long way back for Thomas Madiba and his charges now.
I think Chippa were not really organized as yet. It just came as a surprise. Mbali as well, just going casually for the ball. Thought he could get a fist, a strong punch to it, but he totally misses it.
Well, it's an awful bit of goalkeeping for Stanley Nwabane, who has been one of the better keepers in the league this season, despite some of the issues that he's had and the great losses that he's suffered over the course of this campaign as well. Just in terms of the passing of his parents, but coming into this game, 79 saves, the most of any keeper in the division, and of any keeper to have played at least 10 games, he had the best save percentage of just above 82%, which would have already dropped drastically just based on tonight. or even with just a solitary goal advantage, Mamelodi Sundowns have not lost any of the last 71 league games when they have opened the scoring. Now they have a 2-goal cushion, so you can't imagine that they will go on to lose this match. The last time they scored first and went on to lose was well over 3 years ago, March of 2022. A very controversial defeat away to Maritzburg United. 2-1 is how it ended, but there were question marks over the legitimacy of both of Maritzburg's goals that night. In particular, the penalty that won it. So 1 away now from breaking the all-time goal-scoring record in the PSL era. It actually looked like they were on to do it last season. I think they needed maybe 10 goals from their last 6 games, or vice versa. Just having won the league with 6 games to spare, they took their foot off the gas. The season prior to that, they won it with 7 games to spare, after Chippa United held their nearest challengers, who at the time was Supersport United, to a 1-1 draw. So Sundowns winning 2 seasons back with 7 games to spare without having to kick a ball, as Sales here is penalised for that tackle on Kwaiba.
The work rate as well from Celeste, dropping that deep. Late tackle indeed from behind as well.
Looks to be a fairly decent one, but offside is the call.
Correct call indeed. Malaole there, just grazing that line once again. They're just really trying to break the line. Delivery of the passes though, the delivery of the ball, perfectly weighted. Just, I guess, the attackers to really time their runs.
Well, our last start came almost 2 months ago, 5th of March, and that's 1-0 defeat to Orlando Pirates at home, in which Kosinati Sibisi scored the only goal. He's been on the bench for the last 5. There's Allende. Mudau. Sales. Mokoena. It's Moriba. Rangers loses possession. Just 4 points recovered from losing positions this season for Chippa United, and they're coming up against a side, along with Orlando Pirates, who have not dropped a single point from a winning position. No side has so much as managed to claw back a draw against them. Onyango thumped forward, picked up here by Sitole. Now into Kwaiba, and ball out of play. Sundowns have got play restarted quickly here. Ikram Reyners hangs it up. That's out of play.
Yeah, shaking his head. Ikram Reyners disappointed at just that final pass.
There's a whistle for half-time. First Ikram Reyners and then Jaden Adams, the two former Stellenbosch men, putting Mamelodi Sundowns 2 in front. Hasn't been the best evening so far for Chippa goalminder Stanley Nwabali, and Mamelodi Sundowns have absolutely dominated play up to this point. Possession creeping towards the 80% mark here at Loftus Versfeld as Mamelodi Sundowns edge towards that title. And they lead at the break by 2-0 over Chippa United.
Well, at the break here at Loftus, it is the home side that continue their overwhelming dominance over the Chile boys. 2-0, and it stands them in good stead to make sure that they annex maximum points in this encounter. Mamelodi Sundowns, Stiga, have always done well when they are first to score.
Yeah, and I think they controlled it. They scored on the half hour, but I think up until that point, they were not rushing. They were taking their time, and just before the goal was scored, the coach was actually listening to him on the side saying that the wing-backs need to overlap in Modiba as well as Madao, and that eventually where the goal came from. But a lot of patience showed from the Sundown side. They are at home. They understood that Chippa are having a low block there, so they needed to be patient, not to get caught out. There was 1 or 2 opportunities where Chippa went for the counter-attack, but clear patience from Sundowns, and it paid off.
Yep. Yeah, and I thought Chippa did really well to try and overload the midfield, but missing an opportunity maybe on those turnovers to really try and get that counter attack and maybe use the likes of Martins, the speed. We haven't seen Martins really trying to break the line. Evangar, no chance at all. But up to so far, I think good organization from Chippa, but it's just the excellence of Sundowns.
Yeah, we spoke about the different options for Mamelodi Sundowns in attack, and one of those came forth to get this goal.
Yep. And alluding to what Stiga just said, the wing backs were going to be, I guess, the difference, because the overload in midfield, it's very much congested, and you really want to have an outlet. They've really used Mudau as an outlet to really try and get those crosses, but for me, very impressive for Salez to link up play.
Yeah, brilliant first time pass, nice weighted pass to Mudau, and I'm glad that Mudau just took his time before crossing, because I think that has been, if there's any criticism of Mudau's game, which is very little, I must add, it is that final pass, and you could just see just taking his time out, understanding that there's bodies coming on, and we see what brilliant work just to evade Malao, and the cut back for Reiners, and Reiners in a central position, slotting it home.
That's right. So a 12th goal in the league so far for Ikram Reiners. Fantastic way to get the home side underway, and really now once they got that momentum going, they could add to the tally.
Yep, it was all just about control, and just speaking about the defensive organization from Chippa, giving away a set piece in that sort of area, we knew that it was going to be trouble, but didn't really expect Nwabali to just go out so casually and just miss, I think, an opportunity to maybe even get both hands on the ball and really try and recycle it.
Yeah, we just see, look at how quick that defense drops. So they make life a little bit difficult to Nwabali. But having said that, I think the goalkeeper, he knows better than anybody. An international should have done better. If you're going to first it, because of the conditions, it's at night, there's a bit of dew, it is slippery. Punch it with two hands or catch it, So unfortunately there, a lapse in concentration, and Jaden Adams gets his 4th of the season.
That's right. Look at the frustration, understandably so.
Yeah, because I think he just expects so much from himself. He's the team captain, a great leader as well. Should have really done better.
Yeah, let's talk about the numbers at halftime.
Yeah, we just look, obviously, the goal attempts. Sundowns took a while for that to come, but Chippa United, they'll be a bit worried with that. Obviously, they came here, sat back. It didn't work. It's now the onus on Chippa to say, listen, are we going to get something on this? We're going to have to be brave. It is going to open up, and that'll just create more opportunities for Sundowns. But 2-0 is a dangerous lead. Having said that, Chippa can get something. If you look at what they have on offer, the likes of Teto, the likes of even
Philander as well. I think for me, one of the creatives in that midfield to really try and get an outlet to support the likes of Ivangat, give them the supply, maybe give them a chance at goal.
Well, the Chile boys will be concerned about their levels of concentration. They have now shipped in 16 first half goals in 26 games. So a major concern for them. They're going to need to dig deep and come back into this particular encounter. It is a big night. Of course, today we're also keeping tabs on this one. The second leg of the semi-final encounter between PSG as well as Arsenal in the UEFA Champions League. Don't miss it. All right, so very big night in terms of football. This game, though, here at Loftus Versfeld is far from over as a contest. The onus now on the travelling side to really dig deep and try to make those changes, try to get their very first ever victory over Mamelodi Sundowns.
So Mamelodi Sundowns on their way to victory here at Loftus this evening, on the cusp of an all-time goals record in the PSL and closing in on that Betway Premiership crown. Jaden Adams has virtually made the result safe here. His goal, the 12th that has come in the quarter-hour period preceding the half-time break in the league for Mamelodi Sundowns this season. And against a Chippa United side that have never previously defeated them in 22 league meetings. You would think that this one is done and dusted. Stranger things have happened, but Mamelodi Sundowns adding a little bit of midfield stability now as they seek to see out a game in which they are on course for another 700+ passes performance. As we mentioned during the first half against Richards Bay, 2 games back, they hit the 800 mark, actually eclipsing what they managed the previous season of about 750. If you recall, Rolani Mokoena was always going on about trying to hit 1,000 passes, which they didn't ever manage to do, but that philosophy is still very much intact. And they have passed Chippa United to death so far. In fact, the 16 best passing performances this season in the league, Mamelodi Sundowns are responsible for 13 of them, which is just remarkable. Ikram Reyners has the most goal contributions in the Betway Premiership this season with 21 after he netted the opener. As a man in hot form, he's now scored in 3 games in succession. So we will learn with you who Spilele Mkulise is replacing as he bides his time on the touchline, and reflected on the officials, the 4th officials board, is the number 11 of Marcelo Allende. Is on a yellow card and will miss the next game anyway, so perhaps even an opportunity for them to just plan for Sunday with their combinations, and perhaps that's a hint that will be the man who takes his place. Evenga Manuana making way, and Giovanni Finlanda, who was once upon a time a Mamelodi Sundowns Academy product, is introduced alongside Azola Matros. So I would venture to say that it looks as if Martin or perhaps Kwaiba will occupy a more central role. Matros seems to have shifted out wide on the right-hand flank, and Philander on the left, but we'll keep an eye on that, Amanda.
Yep, I think Coach September just really wants to chase the game. They've got nothing to lose but to really try and impose themselves, and I think Kwaiba will really want to be closest to Lebusa. You want to use the speed of Martins as well, and Philander, I think, with his creativity, his incredible ability, 1v1 situations, could really try and give them the little bit of access to that final third, and maybe just a supply of good quality crosses.
Sundowns looking to make it 12 out of 12 at home in the league this season. That doesn't include the Royal AM results. Last time they suffered defeat was the very end of last season here at Loftus, 1-0 against Cape Town City, as Matros involves himself for the first time. It's a clever little disguised pass, and they get a corner out of the equation. But they haven't conceded from a corner this season in the league, alongside, surprisingly, Le Montfort Golden Arrows, given all their struggles. And in total, only 2 goals conceded from set pieces this season. Get that one away. Matros again. comes in from Thabo Makele. Well, they started strongly here, have the visitors. As you say, a man had nothing to lose. Never lost by a bigger margin than 3-0 against Sundowns, though. I mean, of course, it's a big victory any way you look at it, but considering that they've had such a poor record against them over 22 meetings, you would have thought somewhere in the mix might have been a heftier scoreline, given the kind of thrashings that Sundowns are prone to handing out.
Yeah, I think they really keep to their defensive discipline, Chippa, but always just, you know, going to concede that 1 or 2 goals from Mamelodi Sundowns. Matros already making his intentions felt, just wanting to have a goal at those 1v1 situations, and this is what you want, favorable positions in set pieces.
In from Philander, and Salles has to contort his body to get that away from danger. Pressure continues from Chippa set pieces, another corner. Barking out some instructions. And now they'll have to reset again. Fernando really does bring a lot of danger with his delivery. Salles again is the man to repel that attack. Chippa United last one on the road back in February, 2-0 against Ailing Cape Town City. They've only scored 8 goals away from home in 12 matches, and 4 of those came against Magesi. So that's 4 goals across the other 11 matches they've contested away from home this season. Fair amount of distance on Lobo's throw. Assume that he'll get what he came for, but maybe he won't get to witness as many minutes as he might have liked from the Brazilian Ribeiro, who just needs to rediscover his touch to this dry spell that's into double figures now. It's a good ball from Modiba, Tashring Matthews, stretching to try and bring it under control. Chippa United yet to have real effort on goal. They went into the break having managed just 1 shot that was not on target. Against Supersport United, also just 1 shot on target, 7th time this season that they could only muster a single shot on goal. Back in mid-December, they didn't even hit the target against Cape Town City. It could be a reality for them this evening. Nicely done.
Not the best of passes.
Yep.
But he does really well. Look at the composure.
touch almost opened the door for Sundowns, but he recovered very well. It's been a trend for Chippa this season, getting points off those closest to them, which is why they've been able to stay away from the relegation zone, and it's why they're in contention for the top 8. But against the top teams in the division, they've had a fairly dreadful record coming into this game. 8 meetings with the top 5 teams and collected just 4 points from a possible 24. The only team currently in the top 5 that they've beaten are TS Galaxy, so not the cream of the crop, as it were. They are looking to record just a second top 8 finish. Plenty of teams breathing down their neck, though. Filming on a calculator, never seen that before. Adams works it out wide to Mudau. Pass too strong for Rainers. Sundowns staying on trend tonight. They came into this game having won their last 7 home games against Chippa, and they had scored at least 2 goals in all 7 of those games, and they've hit that mark again. Makele, 72 passes completed against SuperSport United in their last match, which is the most for any Chippa United player this season. Also ranks very highly in aerial duels and headed clearances, does the Lesotho international. Fernanda wins it off Sales. There is Makele again. Kwaiba. Sinadlo. A fairly wicked delivery.
For the first time, I guess, in this match, and I have the freedom to just try and go up, but yeah, very elusive ball there. Could have just dipped into that corner, but certainly Onyango was pretty sure about that one.
Touched the flight well, was content to leave it. Now he's made a huge error. Oh! Just past the upright from Craig Martin.
Big opportunity here for Chippa. This is what you want to see, them committing the numbers forward. That front press, speed of Martins. Onyango just delaying there with the pass. A good block. Just misses it. Should have converted. Should have really punished Mamelodi Sundowns.
That has been the problem for Chippa against Sundowns. They scored just twice against them in the last 9 meetings with the Brazilians. Tashik Matthews applying some pressure. And Wabani gets it out of his feet. Maken, Low. Kwaiba fouled. A man who hasn't scored since in February, his brace in the 2-0 win over Cape Town City. So it's actually 7 league appearances in succession now for Kwaiba without netting a goal. He is certainly due one.
Definite foul there from Lebusa. It's nudging Kwaiba from behind as he receives that ball. That really could cause a whiplash. Those are really painful for a striker because you're expecting the ball and it's just that nudge is certainly going to throw you off.
So Lebusa, along with Allende, will not be available for the upcoming match against Stellenbosch, but considering the kind of players available from a defensive perspective, they should have no problem dealing with the situation. 2 players being prepared in the foreground, Ibero and Maseko behind him. Filan. His delivery away by Adams. Somehow kept alive on the byline there, but Nyango quick to get his hands on it. Forward from Nyang. Sales. Sundowns with an opportunity. Vikram Reyners loses out to Sonwabo Kumalo. Ball for Craig Martin, but goes all the way through for Kwaiba. Matros on his outside. Defensive work done by Aubrey Modiba. Distance, but not enough accuracy on his last long throw attempt. That hasn't been successfully cleared. A header towards the bottom corner from Magele.
Good range from Jovu. Mamelodi Sundowns just allowing the ball to bounce. Unattended to. Kwaiba just picking up that second ball, almost really causing a threat for Onyango.
So not Makele, but the first shots on target for Chippa United this evening. Kwaiba. Half an hour left to play here at Loftus. And then all the attention will shift towards the Nedbank Cup final this coming Saturday at Mozambique Stadium. Soweto Giants slug it out. First time in 11 years that they will contest a domestic cup final. Back then it was MTN 8. Matthews intercepts. Sales teasing Sitole. Mudao to Koza. A lovely ball from Onyango. Kept it by Mudao. Mokoena. Modiba able to get on the end of it. Matros. Mokoena, Mkhulise. Modiba. Mokoena. Cut out by Makele. He sent Kwayiba on his way. Nice. Overcooked his cross with both Philander and Martin working hard to get into a dangerous area. So, Tabelo Maseko and Lucas Ibero coming on for Tashik Matthews and Ikram Reyners. Mamelodi Sundowns currently operating with 10 men. Kulisa Modao has run down the tunnel, but no evidence of an injury. He seemed to be pointing towards his shorts. It could perhaps be the tights underneath.
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
Cycling shorts. The referees don't really give you freeway with that. They're very strict about that. So definitely. Now, can you imagine if something happens or Chippa get an opportunity to score?
Calls up. Sales wins it off in Glovu. Fairly aimless cross though. Mamelodi Sundowns, by the way, restored to their full complement of players, so very quick wardrobe change.
Our coach would fine us. There are no shin guards, or you have to be sent to the change room for the wrong cycling shorts, you get fined.
Matros, lovely feet. Now Kwayiba. Matros again. There's been some real industry about Chippa's play in the second half. Kwayiba. There's low cross blocked away. Now Atul Sales. Ball forwards intended for Ibero. Pounced upon here by Soweto-born Sonwap Kumalo. What a game to make your debut against the reigning champions Mamelodi Sundowns, Champions League finalists. Matros. Loose touch from Globo. Tao September applauding the efforts of his charges.
Yeah, I think they're responding very well after that halftime conversation, but also just a change in formation. Going into the 4-2-3-1 just really gives them a good balance to compete in that midfield, but also to get that sort of passes outside wide to get the likes of Belanda involved in the game. Global's overlapping and adding more numbers, but I think Martins as well, and Kwayiba just sitting behind adds a little bit of pressure, makes Sundowns a little bit uncomfortable in their build-up.
Ribeiro. Libusa. End of last season, that defeat to Cape Town City that denied Sundowns their invincible status was maybe a little bit of a dampener on their coronation day, but this is such a rarity for them to lose at home. That's the only defeat that they've suffered at home in the league in their last 40 games. And they have 34 wins over that period, so could very well see this season a full haul of points being collected at home. Mokwena to Modiba. Sales. Ribeiro. This looks promising for Mamelodi Sundowns. Here's Mokwena. Another touch and another pass away. No one on the park has had more touches than Aubrey Modiba tonight. Sunnis. Chance here. That's Maseko not able to control in the fashion he would have liked to. Matros. Easy take for Dennis Onyango. Kulise, Ribeiro. Modiba. Now Sales. Here's Libusa. That's his 67th pass today as Dennis Onyango goes down under a horror challenge. Unsurprisingly, Craig Martin. Here comes the first Chippa player booked. And their next match is against Mamelodi Sundowns. They don't play over the weekend, so he will not participate at Buffalo City Stadium. This game was supposed to take place on the final day of the season, same day as the first leg of the Champions League is scheduled for. But they've moved it to next week, and with the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium not available, the residents of East London get one more game, which they were not anticipating, and it's against the team that could be, by then, the champions. Technically, could have moved to 67 points, which could be equaled by Orlando Pirates, but think about the vastly superior goal difference that Sundowns have, and effectively it is done.
It will be an absolute treat.
So Kwaiba and Chumwana making way. Introduction of Ronaldo Barman and Samuel Teto. points for Marman in the league. Timbersman has just recently returned to action. He's made a few very decent cameos. It was anticipated that he might be out until the very end of the season, but he's worked hard to make himself available for this final run-in and indeed get some minutes on his legs before the Club World Cup. There's Lebusa, heads it clear. He's produced some unbelievable numbers tonight. 100% pass accuracy. Now a chance. Oh, well, you can kind of see why the drought has persisted so long. Ribeiro has slightly lost that edge that he had the earlier stages of this campaign, where you would have put big money on him netting there.
Yeah.
But it's very clear as well from this, Amanda, maybe you can run us through it, how he prioritizes that left foot.
Yeah, I thought he wanted to just give nobody a shake of the body, throw it off, drop the shoulder, but nobody just read it.
On a second look, you can see that had he used his weaker foot and opened his body, it would have been much easier to slot it away. All 13 of his league goals this season have been with his left foot. So, yeah. Gives you a little bit of insight into how left-footed he is. Of his 25 league goals in total for Sundowns since he joined, 23 of those have been with his left. Lebusa to Koza. Those two combined have misplaced just one pass collectively. His centre-half pairing. Acrobatic attempt from Ribeiro, who is known for that, but it's not his best.
I think one thing you can take away from Ribeiro, he's always having fun on the park. Not one of those players who are afraid to just really try and experiment things on the park. It's the confidence. But I guess in that case, just really trying to make up for that missed opportunity.
Oqueno at the corner. Koza opts to let it run. Turning away from Philander. It's got past 1, 2, and now 3. Makene with a less than convincing clearance. Sundowns have it again. There's Aubrey Modiba. He's 4 for 4 in terms of tackles this evening. Adams. Maseko. So the referee marching over to the edge of the area where it appears that he could be booking. Is he booking Maseko for a simulation here? Because he has pointed in direction of. For a while I was wondering, he hadn't indicated who the free kick was for.
Yeah. Brady, when he took out his yellow card, I thought he had good intentions of giving that to Maseko, which I thought shouldn't have been so.
Wabali, chief among those taking umbrage currently. It appears as though Aubrey Modiba has claimed that, scored from a free kick, the first meeting of last season. quick to get the card out of his pocket, but I don't think he brandished it for anyone. Mabani makes the save.
Good powerful strike from Modiba. Good save from Nobali. Hopefully that does really give him his confidence back.
Now Modiba on the opposite flank. So busy today. He's made the most final third entries of any player. Mokoena. Cut out from Kumar. About to enter into the final 10 minutes here at Loftus. Hard to envisage a way back for Chippa United. We've only scored 2 goals this season in the final quarter hour. Seems to be some confusion over who will be making way here. So Timbazwane's introduction slightly delayed. Continues for Shishi. Mamelodi Teto now for Chippa. Saleh cuts it out. Lovely ball. Oh, and a lovely third. The PSI goal record tumbles. And it's the sub, Tapela Maseko. And Mamelodi Sundowns, with games to spare, they have managed to lay down a new landmark in South Africa's top flight. That is 57 for the season, coming in their 25th outing.
Gift here from Maseko. Young Teto really trying to play out. Here's a square pass onto the path of Sales. Doesn't waste any time. Sends it through. Defense betting pass for Maseko, who converts comfortably to give Mamelodi Sundowns their 3rd goal.
Artur Sales has seen his stock rise rapidly in recent times. He showed great decisiveness in immediately launching that ball forward to Maseko as Timbazwane is introduced for Teboho Mokoena. Sundowns have matched their biggest ever margin of victory against Chippa United in their meetings since 2012. And there's time for further goals. Remarkable to think that Sundowns are now on course also to break the record for the most wins in a top flight campaign in the 30-game era of South Africa's top flight. If they get a win over Stellenbosch this weekend, they will match it, then they have another opportunity against Chippa. And so if they achieve that mark of 23 wins, they will do it in 2 fewer games than what has been available to teams of the past. Teto on the edge of the area. A lot of the pace taken off that shot from Craig Martin as it went through to Dennis Onyango. Maseko. Offside. Against Ibero.
That's a very tight call from the linesman. Maseko just picking up that second ball to release Ribeiro.
Artur Salles will turn 23 at the Club World Cup. Makes way here for Tapelo Moreno. In the meantime, Craig Martin has departed, and we do have an opportunity here for Cohen Peters, former Hungry Lions man, although it was developed through Chippa United. 24 years of age and makes his first appearance in the league this season, and in fact his first ever top flight outing. And that's all 5 subs used now for Chippa. So reflected in the bottom left-hand corner, Sundowns 3 seasons back breaking their own records from about 9 years ago, and they've done it again. And most of the records of late, PSL era records, is just Sundowns improving on their own existing records.
That's where they say you're your only competition.
Free kick goes Sundowns' way. Chippa looking here for a consolation. Moriba. Not the best of passes for Jaden Adams, who's lost it here. A defensive work done is excellent. Musa Lebusa in the thick of it again. Lebusa to Moriba. Bulawa. Kumar. Back to Mabali. Another trend continues this evening is that Sundowns have now, well, closing in on having won every game that Ikram Reyners has scored in. That's 11 games, different games he's scored in. 12 goals in total, never lost when he gets on the score sheet. Well, whatever time is added here will be purely academic, and it will be 4 minutes. And now, Chippa United are heading for a 5th game in succession without scoring. Adams, Munyango. Kulise. Zwane. Kulise again, this time finds Ibero. Maseko, the man to have netted that record-breaking goal. Lebusa with another accomplished performance at the back. Sundowns this season, including this evening, have faced just 63 shots on target. Only Orlando Pirates, who have played 2 fewer, have faced less. In terms of average shots faced per game, is Mamelodi Sundowns, who are on top of that particular metric. That's a clever touch from Modiba. "90 seconds to play here." There's one thing Sundowns have proven to us over the years, is that generally, barring a few rare instances, they know how to close out a game. They know how to control the final stages of a game. which is why it's been over 3 years since they scored first and went on to lose.
Wow.
Given away cheaply by Mkulise. Sitole now rolls it into the path of Philander. Repelled at the near post by Dennis Onyango, but in these closing stages, Sundowns will have to deal with a corner. This will likely be the last action of the game. Onyango has to tip it over. Oldest player in the league and still handle himself at this level. Only one instance where Chippa have really had any kind of edge in this game has been the number of corners. Away by Libusa, who hasn't lost an aerial duel this evening. Towards the back post from Philander, but again Sundowns scramble it away, and there is the final whistle. They are closing in on their 8th title in succession. They move to 64 points, and if you needed reminding, Orlando Pirates would have to win all of their remaining 5 games in order to reach a maximum of 67. And most would agree at this point it's inevitable that Sundowns will go on to claim the title and get the job done once again against Chippa United. A 3-0 victory, and still unbeaten against the Chile Boys in 23 league meetings. That was win number 16. Chippa United still occupy a spot inside the top 8, but Kaizer Chiefs and Marumo Gallants are both level on points with them. Richards Bay just 1 point back. Magesi have a game in hand, and they're also just 1 point back. So that battle for top 8 places looks to be amongst the most intriguing storylines down this final stretch. The big story this evening, though, Tapelo Maseko off the bench to score Sundowns' 3rd, but what it also means is that Mamelodi Sundowns have set a new record for goals scored in a single top flight season with 57. Tapelo Maseko, who was yet to score in the league this season, profiting from a Chippa mistake set up brilliantly by Artur Sales. It's been a great night at Loftus for the reigning champions and most likely the incoming champions. Mamelodi Sundowns beat Chippa 3-0.
Hey Grant, it really has been a fantastic night for the hosts today. 3 more points and that much closer to defending their league title. Now, you spoke about the number of goals scored so far this season. They've been fantastic offensively, but also in defense. So no surprises at all as to the man of the match tonight, Musa Libusa. Another clean sheet, Musa. Hey, you continue working really, really hard. As you said, a big night, lots of hard work done tonight.
Yes, I mean, it's very difficult, you know. We're getting closer to the business end, and we need to get maximum points and make sure that we play a clean game and we keep the opponents away from our box. And I think everyone put on a very good shift, And yeah, that's why we got the 3 points.
You're saying the business end of things. Is it a little bit more difficult now just to maintain your focus and your concentration as you edge closer to the end and where you can start celebrating?
Yeah, I think even at the beginning it's always difficult because we always try to measure ourselves from previous season. So I think it's just a mental thing towards the end, and the fatigue also comes. But we've been here before, and we know what to do. So we just keep on marching one game at a time.
Another clean sheet, man. Tell us about that understanding in the back and how solid you are game in and game out.
Now we work very hard at training. The coach always emphasizes on defenders wins championships. So we work very hard. Whoever that comes in, make sure that they know what to do.
Well done tonight.
Thank you.
Oh, man, just talking about the fact that they just follow the script. Exactly what the coach talks about. Congratulations, coach. Another 3 points. And you look at the man of the match. He emphasized the fact that you said it's defenders that win championships. Another solid night tonight for them.
Yeah, no doubts. What Musa means about that is we need to be very solid. And we need to be a full team in the sense of respecting the 4 moments of the game. I told them if we attack good, we defend good. If we defend good, we also attack good. I think the team is very competent in managing the 4 moments of the game. That's how the team has been growing. I don't like to suffer goals. Sometimes they happen, but we should do everything we can so that we avoid them. Congrats to the boys. Very tough moment because a lot of matches to play, but we are excited, we are happy. We are profiting from the moment, but most of all, we are anxious for the next one and finish the championship as quick as possible. Big respect for the opponents. They are trying hard. We saw a very honest team inside the pitch with quality, but we need to have the respect for us also so that we can be on our limit every match, and that's what we saw today. Congratulations to the boys. Congratulations.
You got that balance quite right. You spoke about the importance of the defense, but you set a record tonight, 57 goals, the most that is scored by any team. In fact, you bettered Sundowns' previous record last season. So things are really working well, offensively, in defense, good in tandem.
Yeah, today we spoke about brotherhood. And we spoke a lot about what's written on our shirts. What is Ubuntu indeed. And those values that we have in the locker room are the ones that sustain us. And then that comes from the heart, comes from the mind, and it passes to football inside the pitch. I'm happy for the boys. I'm happy they are very ambitious. I'm happy that we built a strong family, because we are a very strong family where even the ones that are outside, they feel that spirit. We depend on all of them. We trust on the board, we trust on the club. And most of all, we have a wonderful group of players that was built by our sports director, Mr. Fleming, with the support of the club and the president and the chairman, of course. So let's keep making everybody proud. Thank you very much.
Congratulations tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, they certainly made themselves proud. They made their fans proud as well. And as he said, respect to the Chile boys. I mean, they keep on fighting. They really did. Much better in the second half, coach. But, you know, in that first half, so difficult just to penetrate. And not even a single shot on target in the first half. I know you were disappointed about that. And you had a talking to your players. That's why we saw a little bit of a better performance in the second half.
Yeah, not the best first half. Defensive. We couldn't come out. The counter press was good on Sundowns, and when we came out, we couldn't have an end product at the end. And yeah, I think second half, like you say, we made changes and there was good energy, better in the second half. Yeah, football is a game of mistakes. Against a team like Sundowns, who make so many mistakes, they punish. So it's unfortunate.
It was homework for you, though, because you are going to be facing them again, this time in your own backyard. Tell us about the learnings today.
Yeah, no. We're going to review and then, be critical and try to do better on Wednesday next week. But yeah, it's good that we can rectify now and come back and play them again, see if we improved. Yeah, we'll see them in East London.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
We go. All right, so lots of work and homework to do from this performance. Very, very disappointed. You can see it. That is a third successive loss. They are going to have to really, really work hard to turn the tide with the games petering to an end. Just 2 more opportunities for them to do that. Tonight, it's about Mamelodi Sundowns. You can barely hear me, drowned out by the fans. They can feel it. They can taste it. One hand on that title for them.